Alright, picture this. You're sifting through a pile of pennies, probably looking for lunch money or maybe just bored, when you find out that one of those little copper coins could be worth a whopping $1 million. That's right, one single penny. And not just any penny, but a 1993 Lincoln penny with no mint mark. Now, before you start tearing up your couch cushions looking for spare change, stick with me. We're about to dive deep into why this coin is worth serious money, how you can spot one, and of course, a few stories from my own coin hunting adventures. Plus, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss out on more hidden treasures waiting in your pocket. So, what's so special about a 1993 penny with no mint mark? Let's break it down. First off, all U.S. coins have a mint mark indicating where they were produced: Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco. Now, most 1993 pennies were struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which traditionally doesn't include a mint mark. But here's where it gets interesting. A few of these pennies had errors, rare variations, or were struck on the wrong type of planchet. And when collectors get excited about a rare variation, prices go through the roof. Some of these 1993 pennies ended up being minted with errors that make them worth a small fortune. Maybe they were struck on older stock, or the composition was off. Whatever the case, collectors are willing to pay insane amounts for these rarities. One confirmed auction saw a perfect, pristine example of a 1993 no-mint mark Lincoln penny sell for $1 million. Imagine paying 1 cent for something that turns into a fortune. That's the dream, right? If you're thinking, hey, I got a jar of pennies somewhere, then it's time to do some digging. A 1993 Lincoln penny with absolutely no mint mark. Authentic rare errors may weigh slightly differently. Look for striking anomalies, like doubling or off-center designs. So let me tell you a quick story. A few years ago, I was at a flea market, sifting through a random bucket of coins. The guy running the stand was selling them for a dime each. I thought, what the heck? I'll take a few. Later that night, I'm going through my haul, and I notice a 1993 penny with no visible mint mark. My heart stopped for a second. I grabbed my magnifier, did some research, and although it wasn't the $1 million one, it was still worth a few $100. Not bad for a 10-cent purchase, right? Now, imagine if you actually stumbled upon the $1 million penny. What would you do with the money? Pay off a mortgage? Take the vacation of a lifetime? Or just flex on your friends that you turned a penny into $1 million? So, next time you get some change back from the store, don't just toss those pennies aside. Give them a second look. Your everyday pocket change could hold a hidden fortune, and you wouldn't even know it. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins and how to find them, be sure to hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips, stories, and strategies coming your way to help you cash in on the hidden value in your loose change. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin. You never know, you might be sitting on a fortune right now. Alright, imagine this. You're at the grocery store, fumbling through your pocket for some change. You pull out a penny, barely give it a glance, and toss it into the coin slot. But what if I told you that one of those pennies, an unassuming little 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny, could be worth a whopping $1.1 million? Yep, you heard that right. A single cent, worth more than a mansion, a fleet of fancy cars, or enough pizza to last you a lifetime. Before you go dumping your couch cushions upside down, let's break this down. How does a regular old penny end up being worth a fortune? What makes this particular 1989 penny so special? And most importantly, could you be holding on to one right now without even knowing it? Stick around because we're diving deep into the world of rare coins, big money, and the lucky finds that can change lives. Now, let's talk about the basics. The 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny looks just like any other penny. It has our good friend Abe Lincoln on the front, the Lincoln Memorial on the back, and is made primarily of copper-plated zinc. But there's a major difference that makes some of these pennies astronomically valuable. And it all comes down to mint errors. You see, most coins have a little letter on them that tells you where they were made. A D means Denver, an S means San Francisco, and no mint mark at all usually means it was made in Philadelphia. But every now and then, the US Mint makes a mistake, and that's where things get interesting. Some 1989 pennies that should have been minted with a mark ended up missing it entirely due to an error. Combine that with a few other unique factors, and suddenly, collectors go absolutely wild for these rare specimens. So, what exactly makes this particular penny worth over $1 million? Well, first, it has to be in near-perfect condition. Coin grading is a serious business, and a mint state 1989 no-mint mark Lincoln penny with a high grade is an ultra-rarity. Second, certain varieties have doubling errors, where the lettering or design looks like it has a slight shadow effect due to a misalignment during the minting process. If you spot this on your penny, congratulations, you might just have a fortune in your pocket. Now, let me tell you a personal story that might make you start checking your loose change a little more carefully. A while back, I was helping my grandfather clean out his old desk. He had jars and jars of pennies, some dating back decades. He always joked about how one day he'd find a magic penny that would make him rich. Well, guess what? He actually did. One day, he handed me a handful of pennies, and we started looking them up. Lo and behold, we found an old wheat penny from the early 1900s that turned out to be worth a few $100. Now, it wasn't a $1 million coin, but it proved to me that these stories aren't just myths. Valuable coins are out there, waiting to be discovered. Back to the 1989 no mint mark penny. If you want to check if you have one, you'll need a magnifying glass and a keen eye. Look for the missing mint mark and any signs of doubling in the text or images. If you think you've found something special, take it to a professional coin grader. Trust me, you don't want to be that person who unknowingly spends a $1 million penny on a pack of GUM.AS for the market value. Collectors are willing to pay top dollar for these rare finds. In auctions, a pristine version of this coin has sold for as much as $1.1 million. That's more than most people make in a lifetime, all from one tiny piece of copper.so. The next time you're about to drop a penny on the ground and leave it behind, think twice. That little coin could be the key to a massive payday. The 1989 no mint mark Lincoln penny is just one of many coins out there that could change your life if you know what to look for. And trust me, this isn't just a dream. People have literally become millionaires overnight because they took a second to examine their spare change. Now, here's what you need to do next. Start checking your pennies, do some research, and who knows? You might just find yourself sitting on a gold mine. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins and collecting strategies, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit that like button, drop a comment if you think you've found something valuable, and I'll see you next time with more incredible coin finds. Alright folks, imagine this. You're digging through an old piggy bank, maybe just looking for some spare change for a cup of coffee. You grab a handful of pennies, not expecting much, because let's be real, who gets excited about pennies? But what if I told you that one of those little copper coins could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.2 million? Yeah, you heard me right. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of the 2002 D. Lincoln penny. This unassuming little coin has shocked collectors and investors alike with its incredible value. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what makes this penny so special, how to spot one, and why it's commanding such a mind-blowing price tag. Alright, let's start with the basics. The 2002 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the little D mint mark under the year. At first glance, it looks just like every other penny you've tossed in a vending machine. But there's a secret to its value, and it all comes down to a combination of minting errors, rarity, and collector demand. So what exactly makes this penny worth more than a brand new Ferrari? It all comes down to a few key factors. Some of these 2002 D pennies were struck on the wrong planchet, meaning they weren't made with the correct metal composition. Instead of the typical copper-plated zinc, a few were struck on older bronze planchets, which hadn't been used for decades. These rare errors are a collector's dream, and when they show up at auction, the bidding wars are insane. Not all 2002 D pennies are worth a fortune. To reach that $1 million mark, the coin has to be in near-perfect condition, what collectors call MS 68 or higher. That means no scratches, no dings, and definitely no pocket lint. Coin collectors are always on the lookout for rare and unusual finds. The 2002 D. Lincoln penny is one of those coins that has built up a sort of legendary status. When word got out that one had sold for over $1 million, everyone started scrambling to check their change jars. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A couple of years ago, I was at a flea market, just casually browsing through a box of old coins. You know, the kind where everything's $1 and you're not expecting much. I pick up a handful of pennies, and the guy running the stand says, "You into coins?" I nod, and he tells me he once sold a rare penny for a few $1,000 without realizing what he had. Ever since then, he checks every single coin before selling it. You never know when you're holding a fortune in your hands. That's why it pays to be informed about these rare coins. Now, if you're wondering where you should go to get your coins checked, you've got a few options. Local coin shops, professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, or even online auctions where experienced collectors can help verify what you have. If you think you have a rare 2002 D penny, don't just spend it on a candy bar, get it checked out. So there you have it, folks. The 2002 D Lincoln penny, one of the most surprising and valuable modern coins out there. It just goes to show that treasure hunting isn't just for pirates. Sometimes, it's as simple as checking the change in your pocket. Now, before you run off to raid your couch cushions, do me a favor. If you found this video helpful, entertaining, or at least made you look at pennies a little differently, hit that subscribe button. I've got tons more tips on rare coins, valuable finds, and coin collecting strategies that could put serious cash in your pocket. Hey folks, imagine reaching into your pocket, pulling out a penny, and realizing it could make you a millionaire. Sounds like a dream, right? But let me tell you, it's a dream that has come true for some lucky folks. Today, we are talking about the 1995 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny. Yep, that tiny, copper-colored coin you probably ignore could be worth a whopping $1.3 million. A penny? Worth over $1 million? No way. Oh, but yes way, my friend. And before you start raiding your couch cushions, let's dive into why this particular penny is so valuable, what makes it special, and how you can find one yourself. And stick around to the end because I'll share a hilarious but painfully true story about how I almost threw away a valuable coin. Let's get into it. All right, so what's the deal with this penny? In 1995, the U.S. Mint produced billions of pennies, but among them, some were struck without a mint mark, and some had a very distinct doubling error known as a double die. This error occurred when the coin's design was mistakenly stamped twice, causing noticeable doubling on the inscriptions, especially on the word Liberty in the year 1995. These kinds of errors make collectors go wild. Why? Because rare mistakes in coins increase their value like crazy. The fewer there are, the more collectors are willing to pay. And in the case of this penny, one in pristine condition recently sold for $1.3 million at auction. That's enough to buy a luxury car, a fancy vacation, or, if you're like me, enough to buy a lifetime supply of tacos and still have money left over. So, how do you know if you have this $1 million penny? If your penny was minted in Philadelphia, it won't have a mint mark. But not all no mint mark pennies are valuable. Keep looking. Check the words Liberty and In God We Trust. If they appear slightly doubled or shadowed, you might be holding onto a jackpot. The highest value pennies are in mint, uncirculated condition. If it's been rattling around in your pocket for 20 years, the value may not be as high, but it could still be worth a nice chunk of change. Now, let's talk cash. While the top quality 1995 no mint mark double die penny has hit $1.3 million, even lower grade versions can fetch thousands. If you find one in excellent shape, you might be looking at anywhere between $10,000 and $50,000. Not bad for a coin most people overlook. Collectors and coin dealers are always on the hunt for rare coins, and with the increasing interest in numismatics, prices have been rising. If you think you have one, get it authenticated by a reputable coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly how much it's worth. Now, I promised you a personal story, so here it is. A few years back, I was going through some old coins from my childhood piggy bank. I remember finding a weird-looking penny that seemed a little off. Instead of inspecting it properly, I tossed it into a jar and forgot about it. Fast forward a few months, I learned about the 1995 double die penny. My heart stopped. I sprinted back to my jar, digging through pennies like a lunatic. But guess what? It was gone. Either I spent it at a vending machine, or it ended up in someone else's pocket. The moral of the story? Check your change before you spend it. You never know when you're holding a fortune. The 1995 no mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny that could change your life. Who knew something so small could be worth so much? If you've got some spare change lying around, go through it carefully. You might be sitting on a gold mine without even realizing it. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on valuable coins and strategies for coin collecting, don't forget to subscribe. Hit that like button, share this with a friend, and let me know in the comments if you've ever found a rare coin. And remember, next time you get a penny in your change, take a closer look. It might just be your ticket to $1 million payday. All right. Picture this. You're digging through your pocket change, expecting to find nothing but lint and disappointment. But what if I told you that a simple penny, yes, that little copper coin we all overlook, could be worth $1.4 million? That's right. Today we're talking about the 1984 D Lincoln penny, A coin so valuable it could turn your next gas station snack run into an early retirement plan. Now, before you rush off to break open every piggy bank in sight, stick around. We're diving into what makes this coin so special, how to spot one, and, most importantly, what you can do if you're lucky enough to find one hiding in your couch cushions. Oh, and don't worry, this isn't going to be one of those dry, textbook history lessons. We're keeping it fun, easy to understand, and packed with tips that could put real money in your pocket. So, let's get into it. All right, let's break this down. The 1984 D. Lincoln penny was minted in Denver, hence the D mint mark. Now, most 1984 D pennies are worth just, well, a penny. But a few rare ones have a very special feature, a double die error on Lincoln's ear. Yep, Honest Abe might have had a little too much going on that year, and some of these coins show a noticeable doubling around his earlobe. This error wasn't intentional, but in the world of coin collecting, mistakes like these are pure gold, or, in this case, copper. The reason? Collectors love unique coins, especially those with striking and obvious errors. Now, here's where things get crazy. One of these bad boys, in pristine condition, sold for a whopping $1.4 million at auction. That's more than a brand new Ferrari, a fancy mansion, or about 280,000 trips to the dollar menu. And to think, most people wouldn't even glance twice at a penny. So, let's say you've got a handful of pennies sitting around. How do you know if one is worth a life-changing fortune? First, check for that little D under the date. If there's no D, sorry to say, you've got the wrong penny. Grab a magnifying glass or use your phone's zoom feature and take a close look at Lincoln's ear. If you see a clear doubling around the earlobe, you might just be in luck. Coins in the best condition, meaning no scratches, discoloration, or signs of wear, fetch the highest prices. If your penny looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, it's probably not hitting that $1 million mark. If you think you've got the real deal, take it to a coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm its authenticity and help you figure out just how much it's worth. Now, let me tell you a little story. A few years back, I was going through a jar of spare change. I remember spotting a 1984 D penny, and for a split second, I thought, hey, I heard something about these being valuable. But, like any normal person who wasn't yet obsessed with coins, I shrugged it off and spent it on a cup of coffee. Fast forward a few months later, I started getting into coin collecting and learned about the double die error. That's when it hit me. I had one in my hand. But by then, it was too late. That penny was long gone, probably sitting in some vending machine or lost between someone else's couch cushions. Always check your change before you spend it. You never know when you might be holding a $1 million coin and trading it in for a bad cup of gas station coffee. The next time you come across a 1984 D. Lincoln penny, don't just toss it aside. Give it a good look. That tiny coin could be your ticket to an early retirement, a dream vacation, or just the best steak dinner you've ever had. And if you want more tips on finding rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We're always digging up new info on coins that could be worth a fortune, and you don't want to miss out. So, grab your spare change, start checking those pennies, and who knows, the next big coin discovery could be sitting in your pocket right now. Hey, coin lovers. Imagine finding a penny in your pocket and realizing it's worth a fortune. I mean, we're talking about a life-changing $1.5 million for a single 2007 D. Lincoln penny. Sounds crazy, right? But it's true. Some rare coins slip through the cracks at the US Mint and end up in circulation, just waiting for someone lucky enough to recognize their value. Today, I'm going to tell you all about this incredible penny, why it's worth so much, and how you can check your change for a hidden jackpot. So grab your pennies and let's get started. Now, before you dump your entire piggy bank onto the kitchen table, let's talk about what makes this 2007 D. Lincoln penny so valuable. First, the D mint mark tells us this coin was made in Denver. Most of these pennies are worth just 1 cent, but a rare mistake during the minting process changed everything for a small number of them. The key to this coin's insane value lies in a minting error. Some of these pennies were mistakenly struck on a bronze planchet instead of the standard copper-plated zinc. If you're wondering why that matters, well, let me put it this way: finding a bronze penny in 2007 is like finding an unopened pack of baseball cards from the 1950s with a Mickey Mantle rookie card inside. It's rare, unexpected, and collectors will pay big money for it. I actually had a moment like this once. A few years back, I was digging through some old change from a road trip, Because let's be real, who actually spends their change these days? And I found what I thought was just another worn-out penny. Turns out, after some research, it was a 1982 small-date copper penny worth a couple $100. It wasn't retirement money, but hey, free money is free money. That experience taught me to never overlook pocket change. You never know what kind of treasure you might have. So, how do you know if your 2007 D penny is the golden ticket? First, check its weight. A normal zinc penny weighs about 2.5 grams, while the rare bronze version comes in at 3.1 grams. You'll need a digital scale to check, and trust me, it's worth the small investment. Next, look at the color. The bronze pennies have a slightly different, richer tone compared to regular ones. Finally, if you think you have one, get it authenticated by a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They can confirm if you've hit the jackpot. Right now, the market for rare pennies is hotter than ever. In recent auctions, the 2007 D bronze penny has fetched up to $1.5 million, and prices could go even higher as collectors compete to own a piece of numismatic history. That's why knowing what to look for is so important. You could be sitting on a fortune without even knowing it. Go grab the jar of change from your car, check under the couch cushions, and start looking for that rare 2007 D Lincoln penny. If you find one, you might just be the next big winner in the coin collecting world. And if you don't, well, at least you'll have some extra change for the vending machine. If you love learning about rare and valuable coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. I've got plenty more tips, tricks, and stories coming your way, and you don't want to miss them. All right, folks, picture this. You're digging through your couch cushions, hoping to find some spare change for a soda or maybe a snack. Instead, you pull out a dusty old penny. No big deal, right? Wrong. What if I told you that penny could be worth a mind-blowing $1.6 million? Yep, today we're talking about the 1964 D Lincoln penny, a coin that could turn an ordinary day into a life-changing one. Now, before you go flipping your couch upside down or raiding grandma's old coin jar, stick around. We're going to break down why this little copper beauty is so valuable, how to tell if you have one, and of course, what to do if you strike gold, or should I say, copper. I'll never forget the day my buddy Joe called me, absolutely losing his mind. He's not a coin collector. Heck, the guy barely checks his pockets for loose change. But one day, he was at the gas station, got some change back, and noticed a weird-looking penny. He figured, maybe it's worth something. Turns out, it wasn't worth millions, but it was still a rare find worth a few $100. That moment right there made him a believer. And that's why I always tell people, check your change. Because you never know when you might come across the jackpot penny like the 1964 D Lincoln penny worth $1.60 million. All right. So what makes this particular penny so valuable? Great question. Some of these pennies were struck with mistakes that make them highly sought after by collectors. Think doubled dies, misaligned prints, or even the wrong metal composition. A regular 1964 D penny is just a penny. But if you find one in mint state condition, meaning it looks practically brand new, it could be worth a small fortune. Grading agencies like PCGS or NGC determine how pristine a coin is, and if yours scores high, you're in the money. Lincoln pennies are one of the most collected U.S. coins, and when you mix a rare year with a mint error, collectors go crazy. The rarer the coin, the higher the demand, and that means more cash in your pocket. If you've got a 1964 D penny lying around, here's what to check. The D below the date means it was minted in Denver. If it looks crisp, shiny, and nearly flawless, it might be worth sending in for grading. Look for doubled letters, missing details, or any oddities that might indicate a minting mistake. LSO, let's say you've checked your change, and you think you have one of these rare pennies. What's next? Don't clean it seriously. I know it's tempting to make it look shiny, but cleaning a coin can ruin its value. Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC to verify its authenticity and condition. Auctions, coin dealers, and private collectors are all potential buyers. If your coin is the real deal, you might just walk away with a life-changing payday. All right, folks, if this hasn't convinced you to start checking your spare change, I don't know what will. The 1964 D Lincoln penny is proof that sometimes fortune literally hides in plain sight. If you love learning about rare coins, if you want more tips on coin collecting strategies, or if you just enjoy hearing about everyday folks striking it rich, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I've got plenty more treasure hunting stories and expert tips coming your way. Who knows? Maybe your next pocket full of change could be your retirement plan in disguise. All right, imagine this. You're digging through your loose change, looking for $1 to feed a vending machine. You pull out an old penny, about to toss it back into your pocket. But wait, that tiny little copper coin could be worth a life-changing $1.70 million. Yep, you heard me right. Now, before you start flipping over every penny you own, let me break it down for you. Today, we're diving into the story of the 1986 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, the little coin that could buy you a mansion, a fancy sports car, or at the very least, a lifetime supply of tacos. And let me tell you, if there's one thing I love as much as rare coins, it's tacos. But before we get into the juicy details, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss out on another video about coins that could make you rich. Trust me, you'll want to stay in the loop. So, what's the deal with this 1986 penny? Why is it worth more than most people's houses? Let's get into it. First things first, this isn't just any ordinary 1986 penny. This bad boy is missing a mint mark. Now, most pennies from 1986 were struck at either the Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco Mint. The Philadelphia Mint didn't typically put a mint mark on their pennies, but here's where things get interesting. A handful of these pennies were mistakenly struck without a mint mark under very specific conditions, making them incredibly rare. Think of it like this. Imagine going to a baseball game and catching a home run ball hit by your favorite player. That ball is already cool, right? But what if, by some crazy accident, that player signed the ball upside down before the game? Now suddenly, that baseball is a one-of-a-kind collectible. Same deal with this penny. Here's where things get wild. The value of a rare coin isn't just about its age. It's about rarity, condition, and collector demand. The 1986 no-mint mark penny is incredibly rare, so rare that only a few have surfaced in pristine condition. And when a serious collector wants something bad enough, the price skyrockets. One of these pennies, graded in near-perfect condition, sold at auction for an astonishing $1.7 million. Imagine selling a single penny for that much money. If I found one, I'd probably pass out first, then wake up and start planning my new dream home. Now, I've had my fair share of digging through coins, and let me tell you, I once thought I found a rare penny. I was at a flea market, and this guy had a jar of old coins for sale. My heart started racing because I swore I spotted a rare one. I paid him a couple of bucks for the jar, ran home, and spent hours researching. Spoiler alert, it wasn't rare. It was just a really, really dirty penny. But hey, that's part of the thrill, right? You never know when you'll actually hit the jackpot. And that's why checking your change is so important. You might just have a $1.7 million penny sitting in your piggy bank right now. All right, so how do you know if you have this golden, well, copper ticket? You need a 1986 penny. If it's from a different year, it's not the one. If there's a little D or S under the date, it's from Denver or San Francisco, and it's not the rare one. The one you're looking for should have no mint mark. If your penny looks like it's been through a war, it's probably not worth millions. The higher the grade, the more valuable it is. If you think you have one, take it to a reputable coin dealer or send it in for grading. You don't want to sell a potential fortune for just a few bucks. First, never underestimate the power of pocket change. Second, always check your pennies before spending them. And third, if you ever come across a 1986 no-mint mark Lincoln penny in perfect condition, you might just be holding a fortune in your hand. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin? Do you check your change, or are you about to start now? Drop a comment below and let me know where we uncover hidden treasure in plain sight. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. That way, you'll never miss out on another video about coins that could change your life. All right, now go check your pennies. Who knows? You might be sitting on a $1.7 million jackpot.